Chapter 34. Return of the Vanguard. Amid the newfound zeal of hearing President Jackson's voice, Ivory's voice transmitted again, this time with information that brought a different kind of hope as she spoke directly to the Vanguard. Listen up. There's more intel coming through. There's a clandestine transportation network, an underground highway system, and we've got word there's an entrance in your vicinity. Riker, despite the whirlwind of shock and new hope circling in his mind, with the revelation that Jackson was still alive, caught the importance of this piece of intelligence immediately. He responded, his voice razor-sharp. We found it. We've encountered it and attacked it once. It was a tough fight. We suffered heavy losses. We'll keep UCM updated on our plans. The mention of this hidden network sparked a new fire in the room. Plans and strategies started forming almost immediately. An underground system could be the key, a hidden vulnerability in the enemy's armor, an opportunity to strike where they least expect it. The air was thick with purpose, with anticipation. The fight was far from over, and every bit of information was a weapon, a tool to carve their way to victory. While exchanging brief but focused conversations with his colleagues, Riker felt a deep swell of emotion. The weight of each life lost, the intensity of each battle fought, and the increasing hope created by Jackson's reappearance were etched deeply within him. General Anderson, scanning the newly acquired data, spoke up. We need to infiltrate this system, gather every piece of intel we can. Locations, defenses, logistics, everything is crucial. His demeanor displaying deep understanding of their situation and the potential risks of this mission. Major Scott, eyeing the maps and information displayed, nodded in agreement. This could be our key to unraveling their operations, a linchpin to their entire strategy. We need to be swift, decisive. The operations room became a fervent hub of activity, everyone tuned to their tasks with heightened focus, aiming to make the most of this golden opportunity. The combination of Jackson's voice and the revelation of the underground network had sparked a common passion to regain their homeland. Riker, eyes reflecting the relentless flame, made his stance clear. Let's get to work. We have a lot to do, and time is not on our side. We strike with precision, with purpose, and we unravel their defense. For our people, for our land, we will prevail. He paused for his sink-in, before his voice cut sharply through the mounting tension. Everyone, be ready to move! His gaze locked onto his advisors. We need to strike before they can bolster their defenses. Nods of agreement met his words. Major Scott's voice was tight. A swift strike is crucial. Anderson's brow creased in thought. We need flawless coordination. The room hummed with activity, with preparations escalating around them. Riker's hand gripped the map. We hit them with all we've got. His advisors shuffled, immersed in strategizing, their nods firm and thoughts racing, the air vibrating with anticipation, with a unified force ready for battle. Alvarez walked back in after extracting information from the liberated workers with a grave expression. They mentioned a vast number of armored vehicles stationed at the gateway of the tunnel network, and aircraft as well. Much more than we had experienced on our first attack. The room, already charged with anticipation, tensed further at his words. Riker's voice, steady yet edged with concern, responded, That aligns with our observations. We need to act swiftly and decisively. Major Scott interjected, his voice analytical. Our offensive needs to be thoroughly planned. The presence of such formidable assets implies heavy fortifications. Alvarez continued. They also reported high security, constant patrols. It's a fortress within. General Anderson's mind raced. We need to penetrate their defenses and immobilize those assets before they are deployed against us. Every moment we delay gives them more time to fortify. Major Scott threw up his hands in protest. There's no conceivable way we can launch an attack on that. We're short both on personnel and equipment. Lieutenant Alvarez, hesitating, spoke with an unmistakable lack of confidence in his information. Sir, I generally rely on multiple corroborated sources or tangible evidence before sharing intelligence. Thus, I'm hesitant to relay this. General Anderson, clearly irritated, retorts sharply, "Just get to the point, son. Stop acting like a whipped child." Lieutenant Alvarez quickly spoke. "Among those we liberated was a woman, forced to perform menial tasks. She mentioned being regularly transported from the tunnel to the airport during the day, but peculiarly, everything outside the vehicle remained enveloped in darkness, even in daylight. Sir, I surmise there might exist another tunnel, a secondary conduit linking the main entrance to the airport, a clandestine route." The revelation hung in the air, every mind in the room churning through the implications. Riker, considering Alvarez's report, voiced his thought. "If this is true, it could be the breakthrough we need, a chance to infiltrate their defenses unnoticed." Major Scott, brows furrowed, adding, "It's a gamble, but it's an opportunity we can't afford to ignore. We need to verify this backdoor and exploit it before they realize we're onto them." General Anderson, his irritation giving way to contemplative seriousness, nods. "Agreed. Let's gather every shred of information we can and plan our next move meticulously. If there exists a secret pathway, it's our key to circumvent their defenses." The room filled with activity, the weight of the newfound possibility driving every individual to swift and purposeful action. Riker's eyes sparked to life, unveiling a flicker of hope. This could be the opening we've been praying for. Did she indicate its location? Lieutenant Alvarez, his expression revealing the battle of languages within, replied hesitantly, "My Spanish is a bit rough around the edges, but her words hinted at a big house. It's likely she's referring to the hangar to the south of the airport, sir." The air in the room seems to tighten, the tinge of an imminent opportunity painting everyone's demeanor with cautious optimism. Riker leans forward, his voice commanding, "Then that's where we focus our reconnaissance. We need precise details, thorough intelligence on that hangar." Major Scott quickly added, "If this is their concealed route, it could be less fortified, a weaker link in their chain of defenses. We have to move swiftly." General Anderson, his gaze intense, concurred. "We need to exploit this. It could be our passage to crippling their operations from within. Every second counts. We can't afford any oversights." As they planned well into the night and the following day, till it was go time. Cloaked by the veil of night, Riker and his select team of 8, each armed with firearms and laden with explosives, venture forth into the unknown, eyes keen and movements fluid. General Anderson and Major Scott lay in wait with explicit instructions to prepare for their signal, a fiery sign that would mark the unveiling of the secret tunnel and the inception of their assault. The moon acted as a silent companion in their nocturnal quest as they traversed the dim landscape, probing the secrets of the seemingly nondescript hangar. Time crawled as they explored, and the elusive gateway remained concealed, hidden within. It's the dying whispers of the night, a time when the world is caught between darkness and the first sigh of dawn, that the ground itself seems to breathe. A section of the cold, hard floor yawned open, revealing a mechanical beast emerging from its lair. The moment is fleeting, a narrow window between opportunity and vanishing secrets, and Riker, with a flick of his hand, signaled his team to plunge into the unknown, just as the metallic jaws begin to close. The hidden pathway, a maze filled with passing enemies, a realm shrouded in the unknown. Each kept silent breaths and muffled footsteps, attempting to avoid the transient inhabitants of this underground world, their path leading them through a sprawling nexus of interconnected tunnels and chambers, an architectural marvel carved unnoticed beneath the world above. The staggering sight was a testament to clandestine engineering, leaving them with bated breaths and racing thoughts. The secret city throbs with life, the pulse of machines and the hum of distant conversations, painting a living picture of the enemy's lair. They morph into darkness, slipping through unseen crevices, their hands planting seeds of destruction on dormant beasts of metal and wings of steel. The day is a dance with danger and swift movements, marking every potential target with the kiss of impending doom. The day bled into night, a cloak of darkness enveloping the rumble of activity just within the underground system. Riker and his team withdrew to a room deep within the system for safety, hearts pounding and breaths synced with the ticking of their concealed explosives. Riker's eyes fixated on the shifting hands of his watch, a relentless countdown echoing in his mind. The sliver of an opening in the door played host to fragments of the world outside, revealing a pilot inspecting a plane, his proximity to their concealed destructive gift causing Riker's pulse to quicken. 14 minutes to go. It won't matter, Henry retorted, eyes still on the unfolding scene. They won't have the time to find and disarm them all. Riker's eyes darted back to his watch, the seconds ticking away relentlessly. No, but they can sound the alarm, putting everyone on alert and compromising the surface attack. 13 minutes. Shit, he's right by it, Garrett interjected, his eyes widening as he too peered through the narrow crack. 12 minutes. Riker's voice was tense as the pilot's hand reached towards their explosive, the situation spiraling into chaos. Panic permeated the room, clinging to each word. Sabotage! Bomb! We have intruders! The pilot's voice announced through the confined space. Henry's voice quivered. What do we do, Riker? Riker shut the door and slid down, his back against the cold wall as his mind presented flashes of the horrific slaughter of the last failed mission. I don't know. I guess we... His words were cut short by the first of the concussions, a chorus of fiery destruction enveloping the underground complex, starting with the pilot who held their explosive. Puzzlement crossed Riker's face as he looked at his watch amidst the cacophony. I guess it was running slow? Probably should keep it wound up, huh? His words were nearly drowned out by the continuous roar of explosions, the rocky walls around them shaking with each blast. Anderson, positioned just outside the complex, looked over a land bathed in moonlight, creating a somber stillness over the area. Its silence punctuated by distant chirps of nocturnal creatures and the whispered conversations of his waiting soldiers. The dark facade of the entrance to the complex loomed large against the backdrop of the nocturnal landscape, the shadows playing tricks on the eyes of the anxious onlookers. It was a landscape in suspended animation, awaiting the unseen sparks of conflict to erupt and alter its serene existence. Then, the distant hum of explosions reached Anderson's ears, a harbinger of the chaos unfolding deep within the underground complex. Almost immediately, the serene night was transformed into a scene of chaotic illumination. Bursts of fiery light emanated from the entrance, lighting up the night sky, the intense flickering silhouetting the nearby trees and structures in an eerie dance of shadows and light. The ground vibrated under Anderson's feet, each explosion sending shock waves through the air, causing ripples in the fabric of the quiet night. Soldiers around Anderson were fixed with focused readiness, the sudden violent illumination galvanizing them into action. Anderson's eyes were fixated on the chaotic display of lights and shadows, his mind racing with thoughts of the battle unfolding within, the detonation serving as the unmistakable signal for them to initiate the ground attack. The view was a paradox of destructive beauty and looming dread, a tangible manifestation of the battle between the lurking shadows and the exploding lights. The silent anticipation had been replaced by the deafening confirmation of the beginning of their assault, the serene view now painted with the harsh strokes of war, as Anderson ordered, "Attack!" The underbelly of the complex was a maze of enigma, riddled with constant vibrations from the recent, almost rhythmic explosions. Riker's squad, propelled into the chaotic melee, progressed through the rugged, confined channels. The intermittent illumination from gunshots and sparks from broken wires revealed quick, hostile movements in the darkness. Approaching a sudden turn, they were met with a hail of bullets, creating a deafening, turbulent clamor within the rock-enclosed corridors. Riker's squad countered with disciplined synchrony, their guns responding fiercely to the unseen assailants. Every twist and alcove in the maze seemed to transform into a battlefront, each step forward being a product of intense firefights and careful advances. The heightened tension and adrenaline saturated their blood, intensifying the squad's focus. In a more expansive cavern, a wave of enemy forces converged on them. This arena became a whirlwind of violence. Riker found himself in a deadly struggle. His firearm forsaken him with its bolt jammed, Riker lashed out with brute strength and agility. A relentless bout ensued, each fighter striving for supremacy in this primal confrontation of hand-to-hand combat. The whole area buzzed with chaos, the intense gunfire melding with the raw sounds of physical combat. Each soldier was plunged into their individual battles, focused intensely on overcoming their adversaries. A waylay of clashes and blasts served as the backdrop to this fierce struggle. Anderson, overseeing the assault from the surface, could discern the amplified uproar emanating from the complex's depths. The warfare noises intermixed with the tumult above, where Vanguard were breaching the perimeter and clashing with outer defenses. The entire underground network was a storm of conflict, with squads engaging in incessant battles, securing sector after sector. The fight was grueling, with the balance of victory teetering once more precariously. But the squad, fueled by a strong will and the advantage of surprise, combated fiercely. The brutal contest marked their relentless forward push. The enemy's defenses gradually began to crumble under the united push of Riker's team and the reinforcements flooding the subterranean battleground. Every newly secured section signified a shift in momentum in their favor. The concealed refuge of the enemy was slowly turning into a liberated zone, the balance of power tilting with the sustained onslaught of their coordinated attack. The atmosphere in the underground chamber was an amalgamation of chaos, every corner a testament to the fight between hope and looming despair. Henry and Riker, back to back, struggled to carve a path through the relentless adversaries, their firearms speaking the harsh language of war. Suddenly, a shadow detached itself from the jagged walls, its movements sinister and poised. Riker, senses heightened yet focused on the foe before him, was unaware of the impending doom lurking behind him. The enemy soldier, cloaked in the darkness of the chamber, aimed his gun with a calculated precision at Riker. The air, already thick with the residue of gunpowder and metallic tang of blood, tensed as if anticipating the impending impact of the bullet. It was a moment split into infinity, every microsecond stretched, every detail intensified. Henry, his senses sharp and vigilant, perceived the lurking danger. Without a fragment of hesitation, with the weight of unsaid words pushing him forward, he lunged at Riker. His movements were fueled by fear and selfless bravery, his eyes locked on Riker as if trying to communicate a silent farewell. A deafening blast cut through the silence, and Henry's body collided with Riker's, the force pushing them to the rugged ground. Riker, initially dazed, felt the warm and undeniable spread of blood beneath him. The realization dawned with a painful clarity as he looked into Henry's eyes, those orbs fading into a haunting dimness. "Thank you," were the whispered words, barely a breath leaving Henry's lips, as his hand, losing strength, clutched at Riker. Riker, his heart a torrent of anguish and rage, held his friend, watching the life seep out of him, every second a stark reminder of the sacrifice made. His hand, stained with the blood of his best friend, tightened around his weapon, the fury and sorrow intermingling into a fierce resolve. The chamber, once a stage for a dance of death and survival, turned into a personal battleground. Every shot, every move was a living tribute to Henry, his spirit seemingly present in Riker's relentless pursuit of vengeance. His face, a mask of unrelenting fortitude, mirrored the agonizing pain in his soul, the echo of a final whisper propelling him forward, turning the tide of the battle, a silent anthem of sacrifice ringing through these cold depths.